national monuments, historical artifacts, and some of the best museums in the world. Washington, DC isn't just a treasure trove of history, it's a real-life treasure trove, with precious artifacts on display in nearly every significant government building. In this video, we'll explore the value of the existing treasures in America's capital. And you'll also learn about the hidden gems around DC that are still waiting to be discovered. Let's dive in. We'll start with the treasures already on display in Washington, DC. The Library of Congress is a goldmine of valuable artifacts showcasing American history. You'll find over 178 million items in this collection, including President Abraham Lincoln's handwritten Gettysburg Address, one of only 5 known original copies. As you can imagine, this document is invaluable, and it's not for sale. But if it were, it would likely sell for somewhere between $20 million and $100 million. The Library of Congress also houses Abraham Lincoln's personal items from the night of his assassination, a collection of Native American laws from the 19th century, and locks of hair from Ludwig van Beethoven and James Madison. You'll also find a collection of rare books, including Thomas Jefferson's copy of the Federalist and the Gutenberg Bible. The Bible is one of fewer than 50 complete or near-complete copies known to exist. The last time a Gutenberg Bible was sold was in 1987, when a full copy was auctioned for $5.4 million. Today, experts estimate that a complete copy could sell for around $35 million. Estimating the entire worth of every artifact found within the Library of Congress would be next to impossible. Still, we can assume that the value of its entire collection could be well into the billions. The National Archives in Washington, D.C. is another goldmine of valuable items, housing several historical artifacts, the most notable of which would be the Declaration of Independence, the original U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. These rare and historic documents are considered priceless, but we can assume that if they were for sale, they would sell for a pretty penny. The Declaration of Independence alone is estimated to be worth around $10 million, while the original U.S. Constitution could easily be auctioned off for over $43 million. There's several other priceless artifacts and documents at the National Archives, like the Emancipation Proclamation, various presidential papers and documents, historical legislative papers, and other military and government documents. Just like the Library of Congress, it's nearly impossible to put an actual number on the value of these important artifacts. Still, we can assume that the entire collection within the archives would also be valued well into the billions of dollars. If you've ever been to Washington, D.C., chances are you've been to the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. You'll find hundreds of priceless items here, including the most famous gemstone in the world, the Hope Diamond. This 45-carat blue diamond has an eventful history, beginning with a mine in India, followed by the court of Louis XIV, European merchant houses, and the homes of American elites. This gemstone is invaluable, but experts estimate it could be sold for hundreds of millions. This museum's collections also include the oldest known human-made tool, the Canhera tool. This tool dates back around 2 million years to the pre-Homo sapiens era. This tool was a game-changer for human evolution and the development of tool-making technology. While the Canhera tool is priceless in terms of its scientific and historical value, its value could be in the hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars range. Washington, D.C. has another invaluable living artifact at the National Bonsai and Penjing Museum, a 375-year-old Japanese white pine nicknamed the most famous bonsai in the world. But why is it so famous? Well, this tree survived the bombing of Hiroshima in 1945 and is still thriving today. The tree was gifted to the United States in 1976 and could easily be worth over $1 million today. This bonsai is more than just a valuable object. It's a living link to centuries of tradition and a symbol of peace between nations. Now that we've covered the billions of dollars worth of artifacts, documents, and history proudly displayed throughout Washington, D.C., let's cover some of the missing treasures still waiting to be found. First up, George Washington's silver. Some pieces of the first president's silver and valuable artifacts are missing. Washington's original silver was kept in the home of Robert E. Lee until Mary Custis Lee died in 1873. After this point, much of the silver went missing as it was distributed to several relatives. Some silver was eventually returned to Mount Vernon in 2007 from descendants of Martha Washington, but some pieces remain missing. These valuable relics include silver tableware, silver-plated wine coolers, and a sterling silver bottle roller, among other valuable pieces of furniture and porcelain. One of Washington, D.C.'s most persistent treasure legends involves Confederate gold believed to have been hidden in or around this area toward the end of the Civil War. As the Confederate government collapsed in 1865, President Jefferson Davis and other government officials fled to the South, supposedly carrying a large amount of gold, silver, and other valuables. However, Union officers found Davis in Georgia on May 10th with only a few dollars in his pocket. Some believe that part of this gold may have been smuggled into D.C. and hidden by Confederate sympathizers, although not directly in Washington, D.C. There are other legends that the lost Confederate treasury is hidden nearby Alexandria, Virginia. Although many treasure hunters have searched for it, it's remained a mystery for 150 years. So, what really happened to this Confederate treasure? Historians and treasure hunters are divided on the matter, with some believing it was seized by Union troops and others thinking it was smuggled out. Regardless, it sparked countless legends and rumors, inspiring movies like Sahara and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Freemasons' influence and involvement in the design of Washington, D.C. has fueled countless theories about hidden treasures or secret vaults beneath the city. Some believe that the Freemasons, who helped with the construction of landmarks like the Capitol and the White House, may have left behind artifacts, treasures, or secret knowledge hidden in underground tunnels or chambers. Some believe buried treasure belonging to the Freemasons is located below the Ellipse, also known as President's Park. This theory is based on a small detail in this park. At the precise location of the center of this oval-shaped park, you'll find a flat stone that says U.S. Meridian 1890. Thomas Jefferson's idea of an American prime meridian created the basis of this stone concept. Although this idea never really came to fruition, the ellipse meridian stone quietly marks this Jeffersonian axis. Amateur historians Alan Butler and Christopher Knight from Yorkshire run a website called Washington, D.C.'s Chamber of Secrets, arguing that a Freemason treasure is buried in D.C. They claim that Pierre L'Enfant, who planned the city, considered the site of the ellipse meridian stone the most important in D.C. Their theory centers around the controversial megalithic yard, a unit of measurement, 2.72 feet, proposed by Oxford professor Alexander Thom, which Butler and Knight believe ties ancient structures to Freemason cities like Washington, D.C. Using Google Earth, they measured D.C. landmarks and claimed the distances aligned with megalithic yards, forming a symbolic arrow pointing to the ellipse's center. These two amateurs believe this symbolic arrow is pointing to an underground chamber filled with ancient Freemason treasures. Their proof? An obscure government document dating back to 1880 made an offhand reference to some unfinished work at the center of the ellipse. This document read, "The grading, soiling, and seeding of the central ellipse has been completed, except a small area in its center, left by reason of an incompleted sewer in charge of the district commissioners." Butler and Knight believe that this spot is a strange place to do sewer work, and they think it was actually the excavation of the underground treasure chamber. However, maps show that there really is a sewer pipe running below this park. While experts generally disagree with the idea of a hidden treasure chamber below the ellipse, these theories raise more questions than answers. So, how much treasure is located in Washington, D.C.? While none of us know the answer to this question regarding hidden treasure, we do know that the treasure on display throughout the Capitol's monuments and museums is so valuable that it's priceless. If we had to put a price tag on it, it would easily be worth multiple billions of dollars. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive into Washington, D.C.'s treasure trove. While you may not find buried treasure in this area, you could visit our nation's capital to witness priceless items that might be even more valuable than hidden gold or silver.